Welcome to another episode of Real Estate AI Flash. And today I have a rock star from North and Central New Jersey. Peter Boutros from eXp Realty is joining the pod. I'm sure he's going to get a chance to introduce himself, but welcome, Peter, to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Rajeev. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to get into AI and all that stuff. But I was recently on a podcast with you and Sharif Attab with Fox and Roach.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a few things that popped in my head as, Peter would be a good guest on our podcast because all we're talking about is obviously you're a real estate, active in real estate industry, but also this podcast is about AI and how you're leveraging it. So for the listening audience, I'd love for you to sort of get into your background, your journey. How did you get into real estate and bring us to today?
Sure. Awesome. So I immigrated to this country from Egypt when I was 13. And, I got into school, just like a lot of immigrant parents, when you come in from another country, especially when you know that the only way to be successful is either to be an engineer or a doctor.
Oh, yeah.
That was, I'm sure you can relate, right? They wanted me to be an engineer, or a doctor. So I chose the engineering route. I went to school for mechanical engineering, and I went to NJIT in Newark, New Jersey, to study mechanical engineering. And after that, when I graduated in about 2012, the job market was really tough. So it took me about a year to get a job, and it was all the way in Chicago. Then I was there for a little bit, and then came back to New York City because I got offered a government position to work for the School Construction Authority as an HVAC estimator. And I did that for about, I would say, almost 9 years. And I had a very long commute, an hour and a half commute each way from where I live to get to the job that I was at. And I was just trying to get informed with anything that fills my brain. I felt like there's got to be something more to life than just working at a desk job. And I just didn't see that I can advance myself the way that I wanted to, where I'm at. So I started listening to podcasts. Bigger Pockets was one of them that piqued my interest into real estate investing. So I started going to their meetups. My wife was a property manager. She was managing 200 plus apartments for a firm. And while I was listening to those podcasts, one day she was like, hey, her job wanted her to get her real estate license in order for her to continue to have the position she was having. So I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and take the class with you for fun. Maybe I'll learn a thing or two about real estate investing. And took the class, got my license, and I was like, okay, here we are. Let me see what I can do. I was always a very competitive person. I was like, okay, so let me see if I can get some money aside from real estate to help me with my real estate investing. My first year as a dual career agent, I closed about 10 deals while having both jobs. Then after that, it was 18 deals. Then I was like 28 deals. I'm like, oh, there's something here. Like maybe I can replace my current job with real estate because I really liked it. And that's how it kind of transitioned. I got my license end of 2017. And then, worked as a dual career agent up till about 2020 during COVID. And then when a lot of the offices shut down, we were working from home a little bit. I was like, this is really my chance to see if I can provide my family with the income that we need to me go all in full time. And that's what happened, man. Like 2020 was the year that I, made it big, and I just didn't go back, and I just been full-time real estate since then.
Yeah, that's crazy. So 2020 was the perfect storm, right? With COVID,
yeah.
Right? And the real estate market was like super hot, interest rates super low.
Yeah.
And great year to kind of get a start and kind of get a really big goal, right? So in terms of your team, you're obviously the CEO of StunningNJHomes.com.
Mm-hmm.
What does your team look like?
Yeah, so right now we have about 19 agents, fully licensed real estate agents. We have 5 VAs, virtual assistants, and 1 in-house administrative assistant.
Nice. And 2024, close production for your entire team?
Yeah, we did roughly about 84 transactions in 2024.
Nice. And you're in an area where the average sale price is what?
I would say 525.
Okay, that's outside of the edge cases. That's pretty normal price range for our area. So that's great. So, and 2022 ChatGPT launched, late 2022. So what was your first light bulb moment saying this is going to be pretty transformative in terms of technology?
Oh man, like in the beginning, I was like, what is this thing, right? Like, I was like, let me start playing around with it, asking it questions. So I was utilizing it a lot for, and just like a lot of real estate agents. So let me see if I can do listing descriptions with it. And it was very tricky because, it had some like wonky words in there and we couldn't really use. So I started learning a little by little that we have to give it specific prompts, like you were mentioning the other day, and utilizing it a lot for social media, building out tasks. Like I found a way to like, okay, let me come up with tasks and topics to talk to my team or teach my team about. So that's how it started. And then I'm still learning it. Like there's so many things because they keep coming up with new different AIs for specific things that I just can't keep track of or keep up with. But that's what I mainly used it for, researching like best prices for homes in specific areas, market updates. It does a lot of research for that. So like anything I can think of, I would go to ChatGPT first and then come back. And what I've been using a lot recently too is like, before I go and buy a book or listen to an audiobook, I'll go there and like, hey, give me a quick summary and actual steps from this book that I want to go ahead and see if it's going to pique my interest enough to actually go ahead and listen to the full audiobook.
Yeah. No, there's so many use cases, right? We could dig into some things that you're using, and AI is, and if you're listening to this pod with Peter, you know that the goal of this podcast has always been make AI approachable and actionable for real estate agents and overcome the overwhelm. Like you can start the journey small, and we'll get into it. So, so what are some use cases that you started using it for, and now it's integrated into your team's culture of how we leverage AI and when we leverage AI? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So one thing that's very helpful too that I found is we can upload an Excel sheet, for example. So we're able to download comms from the MLS, and then we send it over to ChatGPT and we say, hey, give me a quick idea. What is the average home selling for? What is, if a buyer wanted to put an offer on something in this specific area, how much above asking price should they go above, or should they not go above asking price? So just by the comps, like it will give me specific recommendations, and I'll put it in an Excel sheet. I can tell it, hey, give me stats, give me percentages, days on the market, charts on when the best time to buy a house, sell a house, all these things. So it does a lot of analytical data that I don't have to calculate myself anymore, just by uploading a spreadsheet, which I thought that was very powerful.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the things that AI excels at is data, processing volumes of data. And I talk about, there are 4 things you want to kind of see where AI fits in. One is like repetitive tasks, things that you do over and over again. Time consuming tasks. If it's something takes you 5 minutes, but you do it 10 times a week, it's probably not worth automating.
Yeah.
But if something takes you like 3 hours to do in a week, probably look at that, right? And the third one is data heavy stuff, like to your point. So in that case, have you sort of just had a chat going with that data, or have you built a custom GPT or something like that for it?
No, it was just on as we need it basis. So it's easy just to download the file off the MLS and just send it over to chat and say, hey, analyze this data for me, make it digestible for a consumer to understand, and also helps me with putting out content for social media. So that's what we've been using it out a lot, and especially for social media, like coming up with topics, that's been very helpful. Like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do a content video on today. And I'm like, hey, what are the trending topics that people are searching for? And ChatGPT would come up with the topics. It would come up with the scripts and the hooks and the closing and the CTA and everything, call to actions, everything. So that's been very helpful.
Yeah, no. So one of the things that I think that'll really probably take your use of that to the next level, especially with market analysis. And if you download this data every month, the output is pretty consistent, what you're asking from the data. Insights. So you could simply refresh the file and just say, give me the insights for February, and it'll just spit out exactly the format you want, and it'll get you much closer to the finish line, so you're ready for a tush push. Yeah.
No, that's a great idea. Yeah.
So the other thing that I thought was really interesting, I've been using, and you have the paid version of ChatGPT, is that right?
Yes.
Right. So in that, deep research is an option, right? In the prompting. Now, deep research is available on Google for free. If you have a free Gmail account, gemini.google.com, you get deep research. So I ran something today that was I've done a lot of research projects on competitive analysis and things like that. An agent was struggling with their Google My Business profile here to rank for keywords like top real estate agent and put in your city.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave it the prompt saying, create a comprehensive research report for Peter Boutrous. Let's just say we want to do it for you. And his goal is to rank high on keywords for his Google My Business profile, conduct a thorough analysis and tell us what he's doing well and what his weaknesses are to elevate his place on Google search results. It took 7 minutes. 70 websites later, it gave me actionable intel for this agent that I just simply clicked and shared the report.
Wow.
So deep research is actually one of the, I think there's so many things you can do with AI. So if you've not done that, if you're listening, go do that ASAP. It's free in the Google site. If you have ChatGPT, use it in deep research. Grok has it. Everybody has research now. Even Perplexity has it too.
So you do that on Gemini, or do you just go to Google to do that?
You would go to gemini.google.com for a free account and free Google account. We have Google for Workspace at the company I work for. But it's available across the board. We just get a little bit more features and security. And deep research is one of the innovations that I felt that Google came out with it first in like Q3 of 2024. And now everybody has deep research products within their chat. So that's what ChatGPT is. There's a button there plus deep research. And it thinks and kind of does a lot of things. And within a few minutes, it's going to come back with some really interesting stuff.
That's amazing. I did not know that. I'm going to definitely try this after the call.
Give it a whirl, especially ranking high on certain things or any research project, really.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. I wonder too, what else it can do for, like you said, anything that's repetitive, right? Like for us, and I don't think it's there yet. We discussed this before, but example, in New Jersey, the contract template is pretty common, right? Like filling in it's a lot of copy and pasting. I wish that this can be done by chat or AI in some way or form.
I think you might want to, and that's a great idea, because I had one of my person that works with me, he does invoicing, certain products. And he shared something this morning. He called me at 7:30 in the morning because he has the Gemini and he tried ChatGPT, but Gemini worked really well. And so what he does is he had 45 orders to invoice. They're all in a spreadsheet. So he has this template, think of contracts template. And he basically gave it all to Gemini. And he said, for every line in this Excel doc, fill this blank template and generate the 45 blank templates or invoices, pre-fill them with the information from the spreadsheet. And it gave him a zip file with all 45 invoices that saved him an hour every week to do this.
That's amazing.
Right? So little things like that. I think there's something there with the contract stuff. You should look into it.
Yeah.
And I would, obviously try ChatGPT first, but Gemini very quietly, as at the date of this recording, they released 2.5, version 2.5. I don't know about you, but whenever there's a 0.5, you feel like it's not a big upgrade.
Yeah.
Numbering wise.
Exactly.
But they just killed it. They're ranking number one as of this moment in all, benchmarks that they do. But that might not last long with all these people racing to the end,
That's amazing.
So that's great use cases. What else are you using? And you have obviously a team of 19. Are you doing anything with the team itself besides personal productivity?
As far as AI itself, so a lot of time, we have a weekly meeting every single week on Tuesdays. I like to obviously train them on something new. So I find it very it takes a lot of time to put a presentation together. So I use it a lot to help me create presentations, and I'll give it topics and I'm like, hey, give me 3 or 5 points on each topic that I can present it on, and it'll create the presentation, and it makes it, and it's done in less than 10 minutes versus it taking me an hour plus to do. So that's very helpful.
And what are you using for that specifically? What tool?
Well, for that, I found Typeset. I don't know if you've heard of it.
It's good.
Yeah.
The other one that's really good that I've been gravitating to is Gamma. Have you heard of Gamma? Gamma.app. We'll put a link in the show notes. And that also takes text or just garbled stuff you spit out on a Google Doc upload it, and it makes it nice and visual. All my presentations are Gamma now, not PowerPoint, no Google Slides.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll look into that too.
Yeah.
That sounds great. And obviously, like there's a few websites for video editing that's been very helpful too.
Yeah.
That we were like a lot. I mean, Riverside, where we're recording this, like has a great AI built in that will take clips out of this podcast and then we'll put it out for short form content. It will edit the video, takes all the silences and the filler words out, which is great, and transcribes the whole video. And then there's a bunch of other ones too that I've been using. I forgot which one of them was the one I used recently, but now that I have a VA doing it, I haven't been going on there.
Yeah, I use Opus too to take long form to short form.
Yes.
And I mean, if you think about the stack that we just talked about, one base skilled large language model, ChatGPT or Gemini, it's like $20 a month, right? And then the next one up is if you want to add a presentation style like a Typeset or a Gamma, that's a few dollars a month, depending on how many presentations you're doing. And then if you had a video editing type of stuff like Opus, a few dollars a month, I mean, at like $50 to $70 a month, you're like multiplying your effort astronomically, if you have these tools, right?
And the best thing too is that you don't even have to be involved in it. Like once you do it once or twice, like you can even have, if you have a VA or an admin, like they already know what your workflow is. Like they can just do it for you at that point. Because I think, and this is what I really like about ChatGPT, that once you start giving it a few commands and like it's consistent, it knows what you do, and it automatically will provide content based on your industry or whatever. Like you don't have to teach it every time once you're logged into it, which I really like.
Yeah, the two things that I'll share something that they just launched with this week with the Gemini 2.5, and a ChatGPT did a lot of things well, but it was very AI-ish for images, right? Not really the high top of the. I always said DALL-E sucked at images, but they greatly enhanced the image model. And it is really competing with Google as well as Midjourney. So I did something that you might like, infographics, right?
Yeah.
Visual way of describing things.
Sure.
And I simply gave it a text prompt, and I'll send you the graphic after this, Peter.
Sure.
He said, 5 reasons you hire. I just picked out some basic information. 5 reasons you hire a real estate professional. Contracts, negotiations, whatever. Just text. And it gave me an infographic.
Really?
Automatically.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's some really cool stuff you could do now with GPT's image model. I think they're leveling up now a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's I think we've not seen enough innovation in the image creation stuff. I think that's going to be more and more coming out.
And I love the group that you have on Instagram too. Like I just saw today you posted like you can take a regular photo and have ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good application for that same image model. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's great. That makes it look nice.
I have learned a lot. I mean, you guys drive around a lot, right? In real estate, we're kind of moving around all the time. The advanced voice mode in ChatGPT is the best, just to talk to it.
Wow. Yeah.
Like the bottom right on the ChatGPT app, the black thing that you click it, and it's just interactive voice mode. The other day I was just driving for a couple hours and I just learned about new things. I was going to deliver a presentation and I asked it, give me a quote that embodies what I'm thinking here. And it just came up with a quote from the CEO of IBM that I just tested it. I didn't have to kind of Google it or type it, because I think if technology can be so simple where you can just simply talk to it and do things, I think you'll get more adoption with any tech. Right?
Absolutely.
Right? Including CRMs. I mean, we struggle with follow-up bots. Yeah, they're really good, but imagine if you could just talk to stuff, it can happen.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. I think we're going to see more innovation in audio computing.
No, absolutely. That's great. There was also another platform that I've been using because a lot of times when I'm I'm at the gym or driving, like I'm listening to a podcast. I just got to remember what it's called, but it can it will take keynotes or clips out of the podcast that you're listening to, and it will summarize it where, or you can click, like, let's say you find like 2 sentences that were great value. You can just say, hey, clip this and then summarize it. And then now you have it in the notes where it's a lot easier to to memorize, or if you wanted to share it with somebody, your team. So that I've been using a lot.
Is it a
I'm
video
gonna
tool, or is it more like a smart transcription tool?
It's a smart transcription tool.
So are you thinking about Notebook LM from Google?
No, I turned off my phone. Hold on, let me turn it on really quick because I have it saved.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in a second.
Love to have that be included in our conversation.
Yeah, and another thing too, like Otter AI, I believe that's what it's called.
Otter is good. I mean, there's a few recording services. I like a hardware recording one I use called Claude. It's like a credit card style that can stick on the back of my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, anytime you use any recording services, make sure you get consent based on the state laws wherever you are listening to this pod. But recording services are good for AI as well. And so as you're looking that up, I'd like to kind of pick your brain on the last two questions I ask all my guests, Peter.
Sure.
The first one is, you've been very successful, 7 years in business, 2017 to now. If you were a new agent starting today, what would your advice be to your younger self?
If I was a new agent, I would definitely, I waited too long to get into it full time. And I understand that everybody is able to do it. I just had the fear of going all into it in the beginning, even though I did see success my first year. But I guess maybe part of it is that I didn't know too many people that are in the real estate industry. So if I was surrounded with the same people that I know now back then, I would have definitely got into it full time. The second part is, anybody that's new, like I would find a successful real estate team to join, because you're going to end up 5xing your learning curve. Like a lot of times, like people come into the team and they're already closing 5 or 6 transactions in like their first 3-4 months. And think about it. Like a lot of times, when you speak to a lot of agents, they're like, oh, I've been in the business for 30 years. Number of years in real estate doesn't matter. It's the number of transactions you do in a certain year. I feel like that matters more because you're learning from the transactions that you do. You're learning from the negotiations that you do. And then the team environment, especially if they have a lot of leads coming in, will get you that experience a lot quicker than you can be licensed for 5 years and only did like 2 or 3 transactions. Like you didn't learn anything. It's not going to help the clients to navigate. You're not going to help them navigate through anything. So I would definitely find a real estate team that's successful in the area that you're looking to start your business in.
And even if you can't align yourself, you can probably align with somebody that can mentor you, that runs a real estate team in some capacity in the same office, things like that, that could actually fasten your learning curve to become a professional, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the next question is, I don't know if you're a book or a podcast person, Peter. Are you a book or a podcast person? I go back and forth between both of them. So there are, like, if I have, but most of the time I would say podcast. Okay. I like to listen to a lot of podcasts because it's always new and something new that I like to learn. But every now and then, like if somebody recommends me a book, I'll most likely get the audiobook version of it. But I'll use ChatGPT to see if this is something that I like. Yeah, that's right. You said that earlier. So is there a book or a podcast that has greatly influenced the way you think and who you are today that we should read?
Yeah, so I like The Game by Alex Hormozi a lot. Him and Lila Hormozi. Okay. So I've been listening a lot to that. And as far as books that I've recently listened to that I felt like really hit home for me was Extreme Ownership. And that was by, I believe...
we'll put the links in the show notes. So everybody gets it. Extreme Ownership,
Yeah, that's by a Navy SEAL. He talks a lot about like how he was able to run his business, his squad and everything. So, and a lot of it is just like, making sure that you're taking ownership of things that you're supposed to be doing versus blaming other people of doing it. But obviously it goes further deep than that.
Sure. Definitely. We'll add these 2 things in the show notes, and all the tools that Peter mentioned, we're going to put links to them so you know where to find them. And Peter, this has been very valuable. I appreciate you taking some time and sharing with our listening audience. And if there's anything I could do for you, feel free to let me know. And I'm glad that through Sharif we connected. And, and if at some point we can meet in the near future, that'd be awesome. And continued success.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rajeev, for having me. And I'm also glad because I've been learning a lot from you and all the content that you're posting out there. I'm definitely going to be sharing it with my team. And I know you have a great podcast too. So I've been listening to pieces here and there of it, and it's been definitely very, very valuable.
Thank you for those words, and thank you for being on here, Peter.
Thank you so much. Take care.